Hello everyone, my name is Saara Suominen and I'm going to talk to you today about our project PacMAN and our approach on stakeholder-led project development for a monitoring program of a marine invasive species in Suva, Fiji. So increased marine traffic in the Pacific Islands is accelerating the spread of invasive species. These species pose a threat to the local environment and ecological and economic activities. So detecting these invasive species on their arrival is really crucial for effective management. We now have an innovative new method with easy sampling and objective analysis methods called eDNA analysis. And so in the PacMAN project, we aim to develop a monitoring plan and a decision support tool using eDNA analyses. We are also helping to develop the science for the UNDP IMO Global Partnership Program, which is developing guidelines for biofouling management and for which countries like Fiji need to develop national action plans. So we are contributing to the science and developing local capacity for implementing these new policy and management frameworks. PacMAN is built on 5 pillars. Today I'm going to talk mainly about the first pillar, which is the close work with partners and stakeholders. But otherwise, we also have developing the monitoring plan with eDNA, with the protocols and testing of the protocols, standardized data management, the development of the decision support tool, as well as the training program for capacity development. But in terms of close work with partners and stakeholders, what's really important is that this is implemented with the University of South Pacific and a local project team there. And so this local project manager and team have been really instrumental in developing the stakeholder communication, the stakeholder community, and bringing everybody together in the PacMAN project and in reviewing and communicating with us. We have throughout the project had an emphasis on the needs assessment of the local community. Our local advisory board is comprised of the key local stakeholders like the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Fisheries and Forests, the Biosecurity Authority of Fiji, the Maritime Safety Authority, Fiji Ports Corporation, and regional institutions, and so on. In addition to this local advisory board, we also have a scientific advisory board, which is an international group of scientists, scientific experts in the field of marine invasive species and eDNA, who have really helped us define the approach and protocols needed for the project. So how this worked out is that, in fact, prior to the project starting, we had already identified the key stakeholders, the key community in Fiji who would be impacted and could be involved in our project. And at the beginning of the project, the local advisory board was formed that was chaired by the Ministry of Environment. And what's been important is that these communities have been involved at the design stage of every phase of the project, for example, in the acceptance of the monitoring plan and in planning of the decision support tool. In terms of the scientific advisory board, they were very instrumental in developing our monitoring plan, as I said, the protocols and approaches that we use and recommended for the monitoring of invasive species. And this monitoring plan was also reviewed and accepted by the local stakeholder community. Currently, we are in the process of developing the decision support tool, and in fact, we had one of our main focuses of our local stakeholder meeting in November last year was in asking specific questions from the community as to what types of information and risks analyses they would need in this decision support tool, what kind of signals they would be interested in, what kind of alerts, how would they be able to trust this data, would they want more information on possible management actions, and so on. In addition to this, of course, we also have our training program for capacity development, and we had a course also November last year. It was a hybrid approach where we had 2 weeks of online material available prior to the on-site part of the project, of the course. And in the online phase, the participants could go over the main aspects of what is invasive species management, what is eDNA analyses, and then in our on-site part, we actually went through the practical aspects of this work. We had about 20 participants from the key stakeholder institutions as well as local scientists, and we really went through the eDNA analyses and monitoring from the first sampling stages to laboratory analyses, specimen sorting, PCR, and data management. And as you can see, everybody was very enthusiastically with us, and we received great feedback. For example, we were told that this was the first eDNA course ever held in Fiji, and it also helped develop the community around invasive species and eDNA in these key stakeholder institutions. And we got a lot of comments. Here you can see a few where people were suggesting that we build a community around this project who will then take over invasive species monitoring and management. So as a last slide, the main pillars for stakeholder-led project development from our experience is really involving the community in the design phase of each stage of the project and led by a local project manager. It's also in identifying what capacity already exists in the community and what kind of infrastructure exists, and of course the capacity development and sharing the knowledge developed during the project to a wider community. As a last slide, I wanted to just show you some of the key benefits that we have already gained from this close stakeholder work. For example, choosing the most representative sampling sites, access to a qPCR machine, additional funding for the scientific training course, identifying possible future directions of the project, and so on. So it really has already brought immense benefits to the project. So I want to just thank our coordinating team in Belgium and of course the instrumental local project team in Fiji as well. So thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.